Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Insight on Business. My name is Michael Libbie. This is powered by our advertising agency, Insight Advertising, Marketing, and Communications, and brought to us by our good friends at FWIRSA, tax and accounting professionals that will work hard for your business until the cows come home. Our special guest in studio is Lynn Hicks. Lynn is the business editor for the Des Moines Register, and he's been kind enough to come in and stop in and share some time with us on his way to a funeral of one of those entrepreneurial giants that recently passed away last year. What can you tell me about Mr. Krause?
Well, I think we were talking earlier that he seemed to be one of those last of his kind. He was, you hear stories about, I think come and go employees still every day dress like you and wear a suit and tie. And Bill was a sharp dresser, and he expected the same from his employees, and he expected a place that I don't think they had many clocks there either. He didn't want clock watchers. He raised the bar pretty high. But I think it's interesting. We talked a lot to people about Bill, and some people didn't want to talk to him, and some people got stung. I think in the Liberty Bank deal and some other things. And but here was a guy, entrepreneur, who he succeeded a lot and he failed a lot, and I think, but you also saw him encourage others to take risks and to go into business. So
yeah. It was a nice tribute in the Register, by the way. I thought that was appropriate. We're talking about Bill Krause, ladies and gentlemen, one of the founder of Come and Go stores. And it is interesting because you go into a Come and Go store, and I don't care where it is, it has that certain feel to it where the employees do wear white shirts and ties and and are for the most part very kind and considerate. And,
yes.
Yeah, and they're convenience store clerks. You can tell where sometimes the messages from the top really do resonate right on down. We had a story, Lynn, earlier today about what some are calling corporate welfare. How Iowa continues to dole out tax dollars and tax incentives to already successful companies, Facebook, Microsoft, Google. The most recent examples here. The most recent example was a $20 million tax incentive to Microsoft to build a data center in West Des Moines. So what do you think? Is that the business model that we're seeming to follow all over the country, where state governments, state development authorities are pushing huge amounts of cash to already successful companies to lure? I know it's not new, but these kinds of funds to already huge successful companies, and Egyptian fertilizer plants, for crying out loud,
right,
are massive amounts of money. What's the short term on that, do you think?
Well, that's hard to see. This is a hot topic, and I think that I think we need more discussion about this, because I know that there's passions, and I think that the business community is really split. I think there's a lot of small businesses who feel slighted that they are not getting the kind of assistance. And I think that's one of the key questions is how much of a ripple effect are these products? There's undoubtedly going to be huge construction projects coming to the state because of the fertilizer plant, the data centers, some other things that are happening. We may not even have enough construction workers. But one of the key questions is how much spin-off is there going to be? Fertilizer plant in southeast Iowa, or the other one in northwest Iowa. How many of those jobs are Iowans? Are they coming from other states? How many contractors? I'm not sure what the ripple effect of a fertilizer plant really is. Are you creating more businesses from it? Probably not. Maybe early on it's going to create a lot of small business. The interesting thing about that with Iowa has decided to go down the path of pursuing data centers, and Debbie Durham has been very successful, and she's doing a great job. What's interesting is you hear politicians talk all the time about we don't want to pick winners and losers. We're not in the business of picking winners and losers. You look at data centers, and so much of data centers depend on public policy. One of the reasons Facebook came here is pretty apparent, is because of our wind energy. How much of wind energy is dependent on federal tax credits and other breaks. The fact that Iowa exempts property and sales taxes on data center equipment. that was something that the legislature passed. The deals that the municipal governments are doing for property tax exemptions and rebates, Altoona with a 20-year, which raises a lot of questions of what are data centers going to be like, and what's Facebook going to be like in 20 years. So all along the line, we have created from federal to local level, we have created these policies designed to pick a winner. And so, I think we need to continue to debate that. So
I think it's a fascinating topic, and one that, as you said, we need more conversation about. It seems to be that all we usually get is a 60-second soundbite on television, where it's just a very short piece, and we really don't scrape into the details as much as what we probably could. There's another story that we had about the Iowa Economic Development Authority awarding an asset, a company in Cedar Rapids, female-owned businesses, to try to help them figure out why women-owned businesses why Iowa ranks last in the nation in support of women-owned businesses. What do you see out there? Is that a truism that you can testify to?
I don't know if it. Yeah, this is a bit of a puzzle to me, and I don't know if there's something specific to Iowa and this is a gender thing. I think it has. To me, it's more to do with that Iowa has for a while ranked pretty low in creation of new business and entrepreneurism, and so that's something men and women deal with. Mm-hmm. And the state and the partnership and the corporate community, I think, all are making efforts to address this. I think we're seeing some momentum happen. I think the tech startup community is moving along. I think there are a lot of programs that are being started. I think there's a lot of resources out there. I'm not sure that people know where to go and where to start.
I think you're right. There are a lot of resources out there, but where do you go as a small entrepreneur or business person? Now, we're fortunate enough we have Startup City and so all other things here within the capital city in Des Moines. But if you're stuck in another town or another city in Iowa, maybe you don't have those resources available to you. So where's the clearinghouse for that information?
Right. And I think you mentioned, Startup City, that's a specific kind of business and model. But there are plenty of small businesses out there, probably a lot of your clients who, are not startups, but they're having to pivot and they're having to scrape by, and they're probably wondering, where are the resources? Where's the mentoring program for me? Yeah. Where's the financial aid? And I don't know if the financial aid is the question or the solution, or it's just where can I go for that kind of assistance for just answering my questions every day and solving my problems.
It was a shocking report from American Express when they listed Iowa as the worst state in the nation with regard to support of local business. And I've suggested, and I've heard several others suggest, that there is already a rule in place that the Iowa legislature passed some time ago that says a certain amount of money shall be spent with minorities and women-owned businesses. But sometimes we just don't follow the rules. And to increase that, or to at least get to that point that's already a statute, might be helpful. Let's visit about earned media for just a minute, because you were on a panel that I was at several weeks ago now. And one of the holy grails to many small to medium-sized businesses is, gosh, if I can just get the media to listen to my story, if I can just get somebody to say, wow, we've just created a brand new self-weasel winding torque inducer, and this is the best thing ever. If I could just get Lynn Hicks in the Des Moines Register to pay attention to my story, we'd sell more of these things, or at least more people would know about it. What is it about earned media, and how can small to medium-sized businesses get the ear of folks like Lynn Hicks?
My phone number and my email, my Twitter account, it's all in the newspaper, it's all online. We try to be responsive. There are a lot of good stories out there. We don't always get to them as fast as we would like to. we've got a few things that we've started. There are a lot of stories that we would like to tell, but mostly I think it's mostly just people need to reach out and don't be afraid to pitch a story to us. And if we don't react the first time, ask us again. I think that it helps. I've said before that I think it helps to be a resource to us. And what that means is, don't just come to us and say, tell our story. We think we have a good story. Also tell us about, your business or your service, whatever profession you're in, you probably have an expertise in an area. Could be an expertise that is of something in the news right now, or something that's sort of a vital part of what the state and what the business community is dealing with. And offering yourself as a source when a reporter calls, or letting them know, hey, I've got this expertise. I think that goes a long way to getting your name out there. And whether we do a big Sunday spread on you may not happen. It just depends on your story. But we've also have some other things out there that I think, we have a get-to-know profile and other things like that I think businesses can, I don't think people contact us enough about those things. Those, a lot of people say, well, how much is that going to cost me? It doesn't cost you anything. When people call and say, well, I'm a register advertiser, well, I appreciate that, but that doesn't really affect what we do and what our coverage is. And so I think that mostly it's sending us a note, giving us a call, and we'll listen.
We tell our clients the best way to do that is actually build relationships with the media people. I mean, if you know that media person, you have interaction with the person, and the media person, no matter if they're newspaper, radio, or television, can trust the story that you're sending them. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be about your particular business. It can be an offshoot of that. And suddenly, things can change because the reporter or the editor, they know they can trust the story.
Right.
It's factual.
Yeah, I think that's well said, and I think that, it's just like in sales. It's your business. Relationships are key, and everybody, sometimes finds themselves in uncomfortable, controversial situations, and it's good to have a relationship with the media at that point. Yeah, and to be able to reach out
long in advance of the bad news.
Right.
You want to be able to have some things padded out there that are positive. Yeah, and sadly,
yeah. And I'd like to say that I'd like to emphasize to people that when those times come, when whatever unwanted publicity happens. When the media calls, I would urge you to return our calls. Yeah. I think it will go a long ways. I know there's sometimes reasons that you can't comment, but I think returning the call and explaining why, and even considering talking off the record as to what's going on, I think goes a long ways, and will help you. So.
Lynn Hicks, ladies and gentlemen, he's the business editor for the Des Moines Register. Lynn, thanks for coming in and doing this.
I appreciate it.
It really is fun, and anytime that we can have folks of your stature to come in and talk about business and the business of what's going on in this community that's changed so drastically in the 18 years you've been here. I mean, downtown isn't what it was when you got here 18 years ago or when you were at Drake University. It's just a totally different place. Lynn Hicks, ladies and gentlemen, business editor for the Des Moines Register. When we come back, we're going to be showing you an image that was used by a Georgia school district to say, hey, this isn't the kind of image that you should have on Facebook. What happened? A $2 million lawsuit. We'll share the story when we come back. This is Insight on Business, powered by our advertising agency, Insight Advertising, Marketing, and Communications. Back with more right after this.